and welcome to the program where we make fun of sales, training, and promotional films of the past. My name is Jason Reid. This is our Halloween party because that, Chris Mei, is the name of our film today. Halloween
party. Yeah. Woo-hoo. For those of you that were gearing up for a Halloween party, and I mean, we know that 2020's Halloween version of Halloween, sucks. It's been robbed of us. A lot of the Halloween parties aren't going to happen for obvious reasons, and trick-or-treating will not happen for, again, a lot of obvious and good reasons. So that's why we wanted to put together a Halloween special for you and show you how several decades ago families would get all geeked up for this night.
Yes, this comes from the mid-1950s, this film. And, much like the main character who at the last minute has to come up with a quick Halloween costume, for our Halloween party, I decided to come as Cheezy Sales Cinema.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well done, Jason Reid. Bravo. He came as a podcast.
There we are. And this is something that you're going to want to watch until the end, because not only is the movie kind of insane, but we're going to do a filmmaking 101. We're going to talk about some fun Halloween memories of our own. And then at the end, I discovered when going through this film, a couple of frames that are incredibly spooky. There's just something in the background that I cannot explain. So if you're into the supernatural, or even if you aren't, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end and send us in the YouTube comments what you think this thing is.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, Jason has not shown me this yet because he wants me, like the rest of everybody else, to see if we can see what he saw. So it's going to be just as much of a reveal to me as it is to anybody else.
I can't wait. So we're going to riff the movie, and then we're going to come back and do that and more. Party!
Halloween party video. All right, now we're talking. Good pick.
Why do they need to collaborate with the doctor? What's his PhD in? Halloween studies? Pumpkin physics?
This is already starting to sound boring.
It's night. Before Halloween makes noise.
Ooh, that's scary.
There's a tap at the window.
Yeah, there's a tap at the window on a dark, scary night. Let's get the kids closer.
Again at the other window.
They're a little too excited about their imminent doom.
But no one is there
this
either.
This is so typical of horror movies, though, isn't it?
It is. Who is this monster?
Surprise, surprise.
Ah.
It is Father with pumpkins, Indian corn, and straw. Everything we need for Halloween decoration.
If you say so.
Yeah, exactly. No one's heard of Party City?
Apparently not.
Cover the roses with and keep them warm during the winter. The whole family is getting ready to make the jack-o'-lantern. Peter has finished his cat mask.
And Mom has put on the tablecloth after a night of heavy drinking.
And now
Mom looks like she stole that dress from the table at a local Ponderosa.
Yeah, we should put a rib steak on top of her.
Exactly. Quick stop at the salad bar.
He is trying to scare Shep with his cat mask.
Whoa.
That doesn't look healthy.
That doesn't look like a smart idea, Peter. I don't know that I'd be taunting that dog.
Dad's about to lose a thumb here.
And Shep doesn't seem like he's totally into Halloween at all.
Shep wants to know what this is all about. And in goes his nose.
Shep seems like the best trained actor in this film.
Probably the only trained actor.
A very sad, sorry, spooky-looking jack-o'-lantern.
I'll go with sad and sorry.
Sad.
Yeah, that's spooky.
That is spooky. You're right on that.
Wow, great use of dialogue here.
All right, kids, you get one word each. Don't waste it.
Goes to turn out a light.
Dad apparently has a hernia because he's carrying that jack-o'-lantern like it's a bowling ball.
Yeah, he is. Like, what's inside the jack-o'-lantern that suddenly made the empty shell that heavy?
Now.
Maybe he put his whiskey in there as a hiding place.
The old lady's not going to find my whiskey in here.
And
just put my hand in it. Ah!
Jack-o'-lantern with a lighted candle in it.
Shep doesn't like anything.
Shep is a buzzkill and I think a wild dog.
Lights on.
Yeah, hardly the dog for a family, you'd think.
No, this is more like a wolf than it is a dog.
But now it is bedtime.
All right, Peter, you can stop with the overacting. Just go to bed. Go to bed.
Good night, Howdy Doody.
That's exactly what he looks like.
But for Shep, the scary part of Halloween has already begun.
Of course, because he's scared of the dark too. This dog is just traumatized by everything.
Not the right dog for this family. You hit it right on the head.
Yeah, not the right German Shepherd. You don't want a German Shepherd that's like ticked off at everything.
Well, this actually is a lot like not just any German Shepherd, but like a police dog. This is a dog you would have found on a SWAT team.
Yeah. He's not the littlest hobo for sure.
No.
Man, that's a genius of art.
That's a...
Shep with that.
Shep's like, oh, I'm going to help Peter out. I'm going to destroy this because he's going to embarrass himself.
Tears the scary mask
It's like
apart.
every art critic.
There's
I can
the
help you here,
outside
kid.
door.
How did Shep like it? Oh, he tore it apart. Oh, sorry to hear.
Peter sees his mask, or what is left of it.
Oh, howdy doodie's
And
upset.
There's no time to make a new one.
No, it will
What?
take at least 30 seconds to glue some pipe cleaners onto a paper bag.
There's no time to make a new one. Go into the kitchen and grab a
But
grocery
Mother is
bag.
sure there is some way to get
Maybe
Peter
they
a new
switched to
costume.
plastic.
Now let's see. There's the needle and thread.
For what?
Always bring out the needle and thread back in the
Shep,
50s, even
you're
if you
such
aren't
a
going to use
bad
it.
Dog. Now Peter won't have a chance to win the prize for the best costume.
Oh, really? Peter wasn't winning anything with that.
Mother tells Peter that she has an idea. Peter, get the rag bag. Julie, run upstairs and get my makeup box.
What?
Those are scary
Now the
words to hear.
Mexican hat.
If you're Peter at that age, you don't want to hear get the rag bag and the
Quickly
makeup.
now, only half
I
an
have an
hour
idea,
left.
kids.
Mama's like just way too excited about this.
A long length of colored cloth.
That we don't need a needle and thread for.
Nope, just gonna drape it.
Gloves, and now
Whoa,
Whoa, she's a bit too into this.
Mom's been
and
possessed.
last, the straw hat. A
What sort of
lady
artistic...
scarecrow.
Oh!
Did she say a lady
What a
scarecrow? Because
fine
that's
costume
exactly what
parade
Peter was
with
gunning
Mother,
for when he was
Julie,
going
and
for
Shep
Halloween.
watching.
I want to be a lady scarecrow.
I'm sure every boy wants to be a lady scarecrow.
Cat and a clown.
Sure.
But Peter's lady scarecrow is the best.
He'll be traumatized for
Funny, it's so
years.
different.
He won the
first
prize
prize
for
for
being
Peter is a
different.
box of
Well,
balloons.
I guess that's bang
And
on.
Peter called
Yeah,
all the other
progressive
children
school.
to share his prize. Balloons for everyone. Everyone blows up a balloon.
Everyone blows.
Yeah.
In terms of
Oh,
costumes, they were correct.
And then
And then Shep finally goes back to his roots as a wolf.
Shep
Attacks
is
the
happy that he
children.
helped Peter win. Peter is very happy. Yes, Halloween is fun.
Yes, kids, despite everything you've seen, Halloween is fun.
Yeah. Just don't invite the canine unit.
Okay, Chris. So that film had one job, which was to make Halloween look fun.
You had one job.
He had one job, right? And that was to make Halloween look fun. Do you think it worked?
No, it didn't. It made Halloween with that SWAT team trained canine. It made Halloween look terrifying and a complete waste of effort.
And not even terrifying in like a good Halloween way.
No, the dog was terrifying because it wanted to tear Peter's face off regularly, and then other than that, the family didn't do anything for Halloween. Where was the Halloween
No.
in Halloween for this film?
There wasn't even any candy, just balloons.
Yeah, the kids got a balloon. Here, kids, go blow a balloon. You know what that is? That's a teacher basically in the 1950s saying, go occupy yourself because I'm going into the teacher's lounge to drink and smoke.
Exactly. So, another question for you.
Sure.
Obviously, movies are meant to be more exciting than real life. So,
Right.
in real life, were your Halloweens as a kid more exciting than Halloween Party?
By a million times. Easily. Oh, and Jason, just a reminder, and I know that you probably share the same timeline that I do, but my Halloween experiences were only 2 decades removed from that movie.
Yeah.
So if this was a 1955, I was trick-or-treating by the year 1975, 1976, and we were already a quantum leap ahead of this film for making Halloween fun.
Yeah, and even my Halloweens were more exciting than that. And I used to have to do Halloween in my grandparents' neighborhood where like everybody was like 70, 80 years old.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I remember going around, there was this one lady who would always forget that it was Halloween and would just go in her home to find stuff to give us. And I remember one year she came up with these sort of kind of old lady cough drops. They were like Smith Brothers or something. We thought they were candies till we put them in our mouths. It's like, oh, this was horrible.
Oh, that's terrible. She's handed out. You'd think that she could have done something nice, like handed out Werthers. No, she had to go with Halls Mentholyptus.
Exactly. So, yes, Halloween is actually much more fun than that film. But there's a lot of entertainment to be had in that film when you look at it from a filmmaker's point of view. So I would love to do some filmmaking 101.
Let's do it, because that is one of my favorite things that we do, is learn new stuff.
So what I want to talk about this time around is the role of the producer, which in part is to make sure that money is spent wisely.
Right.
And here's what I found about this film, Chris. It was like literally 6 minutes of nothing, but it was likely a very expensive film to produce. Especially for us at Cheezy Sales Cinema, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's accurate, but harsh.
But I think the reason why I'm taking it so harshly is because of all the money that got spent. So let's look at where that money went and see if they got a good return on it.
Okay, this first, I know you're probably, I'm not sure what you're alluding to necessarily, except for the fact that this house does look a lot like, only because of the way that it was shot, with the knocking on the window and everything, and you could tell that there was nothing outside, and all of the outside sounds were fake. So I would assume that this was probably on a sound studio.
Yes. So they paid for a movie set, which was not cheap back in the 50s.
No.
And even what was even more expensive is the fact that this is shot in color.
Oh, that's right. This is the 50s.
Yeah. So 1954, obviously color film is around, but a lot of studio features are still being shot in black and white because it costs more to buy color film. You need more expensive cameras to shoot color film, and then it's more expensive to process color film. So this was like probably, this is into the thousands of dollars, 1950s dollars, probably tens of thousands just for film stock for this.
I hadn't even thought of that. I just take for granted color.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, it's a color video. But now that you bring that up, you're right. Because I remember the first color television we had in our house was, I believe, well, it was early 70s. It was probably 73, 74. We had a color TV. So if this was 20 years prior to that and they were already shooting in color, why did they do it for this?
I don't know. But, the money spend gets even more curious because if you look at this dog, if you know film, you realize that this is obviously a trained dog. They would not want on their set a dog that's this temperamental. So
this demonic.
Yeah. So you're dealing with obviously a dog that's been trained very well. It's an animal actor, and they're not cheap.
No, they wouldn't. There's no way that they would be, because you have to pay not just the animal that has been trained, but you have to pay the trainer and the people, the handlers with the dog, to make sure that the dog is kept in check. Absolutely. That's a crew.
Yeah. So because this makes it obvious it's a professional animal actor, you can see that this would make it obvious that this woman is a professional actress, or maybe she's just escaped from Arkham Asylum.
Did you just say that? What in the world is going on with you tonight?
It's Halloween,
like, seriously, Chris. Man, what the hell? Because now I'm looking at her and I can't unthink that. Look at the look in her face. She's gone mad.
She is like really into it. So I hope that was a professional actress who they paid some money to and not just picked up some crazy person off the street.
So basically what you've done now is you've just said it's either responsibility or children's lives are in danger at any moment in this shooting.
Exactly. And I'm not even going to bring up the dad. He's his own episode, I think.
He's his own episode. You're right.
Yeah. But we will talk about Peter, the kid, who looks exactly like Howdy Doody, the puppet.
So what you're suspecting now is that they had to pay a licensing fee because this kid was so spot on to Howdy Doody?
The weird thing in the 50s were, I mean, these red-haired boys with freckles were in everything. Like you think about Andy Griffith, Dennis the Menace, all of these TV shows in the 50s, all Lost in Space. It was all the red-haired kid with the freckles. So an actor like this, even though he may not be a good actor, is in demand because of his looks and probably would not be cheap.
Good stuff. I wouldn't have even thought of that as well. That's true. I mean, you see it in today's film and commercials. As soon as you have that particular character profile that sells product, everybody wants that character profile. I mean, it could be anything really, and we see it changing quite often. But yeah, that's true. If that look was in demand and that kid nails it, then they would have had to have paid out huge for him.
He even has the same teeth
and the same shirt.
Yeah, the same shirt too. So yeah, they may have had to pay a licensing fee. Get me Howdy Doody. Well, we can't do Howdy Doody, but we've got a kid who looks just like him.
The people that own Howdy Doody are like, wait a minute. That's a live action hero. Get him. Geez.
Yeah. So they've spent all this money so far on the actors, the set, and color film. And the one thing that they could have spent money on, the key plot point, which was the mask that Peter had spent so much time designing that couldn't possibly be redone or replaced, it's this.
This is where the producer failed. This is where the producer this is where they needed computers back then, which they didn't have, because he needed a spreadsheet. He needed an Excel spreadsheet that said, we've got this, and this. But no, when it came down to it and they said, all right, let's get everybody on set. Let's get everybody in position. And oh my God, we don't have a costume. And
that's exactly what happened, because there's no way they would have chosen something this crappy otherwise.
They spent a freaking dumpster full of money on color film and a movie set and trained dog and child actors, and they came up with this piece of crap paper bag cutout thing
as the main plot point. Oh my goodness.
Oh, mercy, that's funny.
Yeah, and then finally, the other thing that they spent money on that I'm amazed at was this guy, Willard Abraham, who was a consultant.
I want to know why.
Yeah, he's a PhD, and usually in films like this, if you see, done in conjunction with a PhD, it's somebody in child studies who's looked at the film and said, that's too intense for young children.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Probably. It's probably the reason. He's probably the reason why this is so dry. They probably took out anything that's sort of remotely exciting, but he said, leave the killer dog, leave the crappy mask. What's even scarier was, Chris, I had to take out a couple of seconds of a child in the parade who was wearing this horrible racial caricature costume.
I know what you're talking about. When you first sent me the film and I watched it, I went, uh-oh, because I remember last week we had another incident where we had to pull something because it was dated, and it was just, wow, what the heck was going on back in the 50s?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it wasn't the good old days for everyone for sure. No. But yeah, they spend all this money on a PhD, and he goes, oh yeah, casual racism, we'll just leave that in. Killer dog,
that should
we'll just
be
leave
fine.
That in. Exactly. So, unfortunately, sorry, Gordon Wiesenborn, I think as a producer, when it came to managing your money in this production, you failed.
Failed. You did a bad job, buddy. You did a bad job. You cost a sick amount of money, and you came up with a zero for a product.
Yes, but there is one bizarre little Easter egg in this film, something that I found when I was going through it. And it's the scene where the father comes through the door, and behind him there is something very strange. And why don't we take a closer look at what is behind Dad?
Oh, what the heck is that?
It's like a werewolf wearing a Dracula costume. I don't know.
But I can clearly see eyes and a nose and a messed up looking mouth.
Yeah.
And it's standing right behind Father. Wow, you remember that old show, That's Incredible? Speaking of the 70s, remember that show, That's Incredible?
Yes, of course.
You remember the ghost stories?
Yeah.
They would always be, and look at this, in behind. That's what this sort of looks like. It's sort of like, it's there, but nobody saw it until they developed the film.
So I'll pretend to be John Davidson and say, okay, so who is this devil beast? If you know in the audience or can take a guess, we would love to have your comments. So put them in the YouTube comments below.
I'll play Fran Tarkenton.
Okay.
The ex-quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings who suddenly is on That's Incredible. I don't know what that is, but I can hardly wait to find out.
And unfortunately, we don't have a Kathy Lee Crosby with us. So that's going to be that. But at least, out of all of the Halloween nothingness that we saw in this film, it was kind of cool to come across something that's genuinely creepy.
That last frame that you found absolutely saved the night. That put the Halloween back in Halloween Party, because that film was anything but a party.
Yes. No party, but darn it, in terms of Halloween, it was creepy.
Hey, it did turn this episode into a party for us, and for everybody else that got an opportunity to tune in, because, man, I think we had a lot of fun tearing that thing apart. We tore that apart like friggin' Shep tore apart that stupid mask.
Exactly. Yeah, obviously we say we love these films, and I love that film too, but boy, there was a lot to love, but there was a lot to not love about that film. Kind of like Halloween 2020.
Kind of like Halloween 2020. Really, this is just another testament of just how sad and sorry, just like the pumpkin, our Halloween is going to be this year. You can't have Halloween parties because that's impossible and dangerous. So please think about it. And trick-or-treating is likely just simply not going to happen unless it's in an incredibly controlled environment. As soon as we can punt this pandemic, it's going to be great. And Halloween in 2021 is going to be way better than the video we just saw.
Exactly. So until then, on behalf of Chris Mei, I'm Jason Reid, and enjoy your Halloween as well as you can.
Best you can.